No.
Please.
So, Michael, the camera is going. Okay.
Alright, so this 6 hours.
So,
Okay,
Jasmine, I will put you in ISS if I have to. All right. So here's our equation. Why? You are in charge of homecoming. You decide to charge $10 for advance tickets, $15 for at the door. How many at the door tickets and advance tickets did you sell? If 258 students bought tickets and the ticket sales earned $3,245. So, what do you guys think? What are our two equations? Austin, you have one?
3,000 equals. Hold on.
I got it.
3,245.
Okay, equals
10A.
10A
And 15D.
and what does and mean?
Plus 15.
Plus 15D. Okay.
Is that right?
If we switch them around,
You don't want us to solve
That's
them,
fine.
Just get the equation.
Just get the equations. That's all we're doing now. We'll solve them later, Katrina. Jessica, you got the other one?
A plus D.
Good. A plus D equals 258. Perfect. Those are our two equations. What do you need help with?
If you put the
don't open that.
That's fine. Yep. You put the 3,245 on their side, it still works. So,
I know, where do you get 258?
where do I get 258? Okay. Serena, Jasmine, put the window halfway.
Thank you.
Okay? Thank you. If you can't handle controlling the window on your own, then I'll control it for you. Now, the question was, where do we get the 258? Okay? The 258 comes from the problem. They say only 258 students attend. Okay? Now, A and D, those stand for the number of students purchasing that type of ticket, right?
Yeah.
So 258 students attend, that means my advance tickets and my at-the-door tickets need to add to 258.
Oh, so you multiply them.
Yep. The 10 and the 15, that's how much the tickets cost. So if I'm looking at the money involved, how much money we made, then I need to use the monetary value, for A and D. All right, so 10 is how much A costs, 15 is how much D costs. So 10 times A plus 15 times D, that equals how much money we earn.
Wait.
Okay. Okay, 10 times A plus 15 times D. Okay. Do the equations make sense? How we got there? Okay. Now, I got 258 because it said 258 tickets were bought. Okay. Alexis, you okay?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, you with me now?
Yeah.
Okay, good. All right. Now this is a system of equations, right? Right? And that bracket means what, Michael?
She wasn't here yesterday.
Okay. That means that the A here is the same as the A here, right?
No.
They both mean advance tickets. The D here is the same as the D here. They both mean at-the-door tickets. Yes? That's what the bracket means. It means those equations are linked in this scenario. Okay, so these are the two equations that define this scenario. Right? Now, we have 4 steps to solving this system of equations. We'll start with 1, 2, 3, 4, and go and we'll get the answer here a little quicker than we did yesterday.
All right.
Okay? So, first step. First step is to do what?
Pick an equation.
Pick an equation and
Solve.
solve for one variable. So, what equation? It doesn't matter which one.
No.
What equation you want to pick? Austin, what'd you say?
3,245.
Okay.
Can we do the easier one?
Austin was so committed to this one, he was willing to say it as fast as he could, so we'll start with this one. That's fine. Okay.
I agree with you.
What variable do you want to solve for, Richie?
D.
Okay, Richie said he wants to solve for D.
That's all for D.
We should start for A now.
Okay. Okay. So, we're going to solve for D. That means we need to get D by itself, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So what's my first step? Minus the 10A from both sides.
Yes, sir.
I think I heard someone say that. Was that Jose or Juan?
No,
One. Okay.
Wait, do you get to pick your variable?
No.
Pick the letters?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can pick the letters.
I like to solve for them.
Yep, you can pick the one you want to solve for. This one probably would have been easier if we solved for A, but that's alright. Richie wants to make it difficult for us.
Well, we always needed the hardest.
The hardest equation.
That's alright. That's alright. Okay, so now how do I keep solving this for D? What do I do next? Divide by
15.
15. I divide all these by 15, right?
Yes, sir.
So the 15s cancel. We end up with d by itself, right?
Yes.
What's 3245 divided by 15? You have a calculator.
216.33.
216.3 repeating.
Yep.
Okay. And what's 10 divided by 15?
Negative 10. Right?
Yeah.
Wow.
Equals 6a.
Okay. 0.6a, right? And that 6 is repeating, isn't it?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay.
Oh, we gotta stop too.
So we solve for 1, right?
Yep.
Why is it this way, Alexis? Is that your question? Okay. Now, had we picked another equation, we might not have these decimals. That's okay. But we'll go with it. It'll work fine. Next step, step 2. Step 2. What do we do?
Substitute the result of the previous into the other equation for the variable you solved for. I read that, didn't I?
You did.
How can
So
you see it?
substitute this result. Substitute this result into the other equation. So here's the other equation, isn't it?
You sure?
Okay. So we gotta substitute this result into the other equation and solve for. Oh, we'll get to the solve for next. That's part 3. Okay. So step 2. We're gonna substitute this in to this equation,
Yes, sir.
right? So we know this is what d equals, right?
Yes, sir.
So that means this goes into this equation for
D.
D.
the d. Okay. So
D.
a plus d equals 258, right?
Wow.
Right? Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I want to put this right here. I want to substitute that in for d, right? So instead of d, we write 216.3 repeating minus 0.6 repeating. Does that make sense, guys? Yeah. There's a minus sign right here.
Parenthesis with the parenthesis.
What's the question?
Okay, for the second
Mhm.
equation on the top. How did you get 258?
How do you get 258? Because they said they sold 258 tickets. Okay, good question. Okay. Any other questions?
Do we have to put the parenthesis?
The 2 A's.
We don't need any parentheses because there's no coefficient on D. Okay, there's not like a 3 or a 5 right there. Okay, does that make sense? Any other questions? Okay. So now, step 3. What is step 3 in the solving the system equations for? Solve for the other variable, right? Solve for what's left. So what's the variable that's left? The a. So we have a plus 216.3 repeating, right? Minus 0.6 repeating a equals 258, right? That's what we have, correct?
Yep.
Okay. So, what's our first step in solving this?
Oh, yeah, I don't know.
Combine what?
Hey.
Combine like terms. What are our like terms?
A
A and A, right? Now, this is 0.6 repeating, isn't it?
Yep.
This is 1. This is negative. So if I do 1 minus 0.6 repeating, what am I going to get? Not 0.4 repeating.
Negative
This is
1.6.
2/3, right?
Yeah.
Right? If I do 1 minus 2/3, what do I get? 1/3, right? Okay, you can write your calculator if you want to. You can just try it out 1 minus 2 divide 3. Okay, because 0.6 repeating is 2/3. And you'll get 0.3 repeating. So then I know I have 0.3 repeating A plus 216.3 equals 258.
Wait, but how'd you get the 0.38?
What?
0.38.
This is 1A, right?
Oh.
Okay?
Yeah.
This is 0.6 repeating, which is 2/3. Okay? If you do 2 divided by 3, you get 0.6 repeating. Try it. Get a calculator right there. 2 divided by 3. Right? Does that make sense? Okay. Alexis, does that make sense why it's not 0.4 repeating? Alright. So we good to here? Are we good to here?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, can you guys solve the rest of this?
No.
Nope.
Yes, you can. You can solve for A. Now, when you plug in the 0.3 repeatings, do like 5 or 6 threes after the decimal. Okay? All right. So try it out. Try to solve for A. You guys can do it. What? Austin and Richie tried to make this one difficult on us, but we're all right.
I'm already done. I did it.
Good. Perfect. Okay.
Yeah, you are. You're disgusting.
Austin.
What?
Try to solve this. Stay focused, please.
So we have to just still solve for it.
What? Solve for A. Yep. Remember, when you're doing 0.3 repeating on your calculator, have like 5 threes or 6 threes after the decimal. And then you'll get close to what we should have.
So why is it so confusing?
I don't know why it's confusing.
Is there any way to put like
Yeah, 1 divided 3.
No, like
1 divided 3.
like to put the bar?
No, 1 divided 3.
so if you want a 0.3 in your equation, just put 1 divided by 3.
You could, but it's not going to work with a 216. You can't do 216, 1 divided 3. It won't work. So just put like 5 or 6 threes at the end. So do 216.3333333 like 5 or 6 times. Then that'd be an overkill, but it'll work. Okay.
Why don't you just have 1 minus 2 over 3 equals 0.3?
Because it was to show you that the 0.6 is really 1/3. So if you did that in your calculator,
yeah, I
1
saw
minus
that.
2 divided 3, you get 0.3. Meaning. So if you do 1 minus 2 divide 3. Okay. 0.3 repeating, right? That's why I showed
She
it.
really is now.
Cass, you trying this out or what? It's just algebra. You gotta move this, right? It's added. How do you get rid of it? Subtract.
Wait,
Subtract from both sides.
So when you subtract it, you actually subtract, you don't do 0.38 equals 258 minus.
Right. Well, you do 258 minus 216.333333
And we
whatever.
get the answer.
Then you get the answer. So you have 0.3 A equals that. No, because you have to do 258 minus the 216 first. You can't go. Subtract
Oh
those
my
first.
god.
All right, so we're just solving for A, guys. Give you about another minute.
Yep.
And all these 6s and all these 8s and all these 3s, like what is up?
What? Yeah. Okay, how you doing? Perfect. Nice job.
Yeah, buddy.
Okay.
Don't even.
All right, so
I'll tell.
what's my first step here?
Snake.
Jessica?
Subtract 216.3 on both sides.
Good. Hold on a sec. We still have 0.3A, right? 258 minus 216.3. Now you put the 0.3 and use like 5 or 6 threes, like I said a couple times. Okay? And when you get that, what do you get?
I got 41.6.
Okay, so 41.6 repeating, right? You had a bunch of 6s after that, didn't you?
This
Okay.
is his.
God, dude, don't say that.
Now what do you do?
Divide the point.
Perfect. Divide both sides by 0.3 repeating. So you use like 5 or 6 6s and 5 or 6 3s. And what do we get for A? A equals 125.
0.0001.
Okay. So, even though we had some nasty decimals, because we kept that 0.3 repeating the whole time and didn't just round it, we end up getting a whole number answer, right?
Yes.
So is that a possible answer in this context?
Yes, sir.
Well,
Yeah.
actually, there's decimals.
You got like 124.999999999. Okay, close enough. All right, 125.00001 is close enough. All right. Now, had we guys instead pick this equation and solve for A or solve for D. Okay, would have been a lot easier. We would have had something like A equals 258 minus D, and we plug that in up here. We would still get the same we still get the same result, but it would just be a little easier than going the route we did. Okay, but Austin and Richie wanted to make it tough. That's all right, guys. That's fine. All right. So now that's what A equals. Does that make sense?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you. Last step. What's the last step? I take my result here and do what?
Put it in the A.
Put it in for A. Does it matter which equation I use?
No.
No. So I can pick either of these two equations and plug in 125 for A. Okay? So then I'm going to take the bottom equation because that's the easier one. All right, I think we did enough difficult equations today.
Yes, sir.
All right. And we're going to do 125 plus D equals 258. Right?
Yes, sir.
So now I solve for D. What do I get? How do I solve for D?
Minus 125.
Minus 125. Subtract 125 from both sides. So that means D equals
133.
133. So that means our solution to this situation is 125 advance tickets and 133 at the door. And the good thing is there's an even number of people going, so then everybody will have a dancing partner.
Really?
No one will be left out.
Are you sure?
Are there any questions?
No.